Good morning. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Gulfstream Park, mandatory pick six today. I think they're projecting, I don't know, about 1 million in the pool, it sounds like. I think there's probably a couple spots you can single, so I think you need to find your spot, I would say. But I personally did not think it. Let's jump in. I did not think it was in the first race here. Starts in 40 minutes for the pick six. Um, Mr. Peaks, I think is vulnerable here. This horse going to be a short price. I think a lot of people probably start off and may even single Mr. Peaks. But I thought this race was outside of the first two races. I thought were tough. But I actually put the Scotty Longshot on top. Troops has won at the distance, as well as the 5 has won at the distance. The only two that have won at 6.5 on the dirt. I was 415. One horse is going to be a price. I think has a big look. You're going to have to decide what to do here, though, because if you spread with the favorite, you're going to kill value in a ticket. But I'm trying to beat Mr. Peaks in the first leg. I know a lot of people struggle to do that, but why does this horse have to win it? It's going to be even money. I mean, the 4 to 5 E morning line. I mean, here's the issue. I honestly think that this horse might not get the lead. And it either that or it gets caught in between. There's speed to the inside. There's speed to the outside. I know that this horse fits. It's got strong GSR. It's got speed. I just don't trust. No way. And if I remember, I think they're adding blinkers in like start 17. So they're trying to figure it out still. It's not for me. Not a 12-5 claimer. So man. Oh, Scrat. Yeah, it's been hot, brother. We've been crushing Gulfstream Park. I appreciate the comments. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. I appreciate that, Scrat. But I mean, the horse win the racing, but the problem is like there's all this other speed here. And you look at Mr. Peaks for Chapman, Miguel rides, like makes a lot of sense, but one win recently, right? That was at Tampa. Has not been able to win on any of these recent Gulfstream Dirt efforts. Did win back here, but that was in the Safi barn. I mean, Safi. Like I don't know. I do not trust this horse today. Not run versus tougher allowance. They finally take the drop to 12-5. I mean, luck. I mean, in my opinion, you better go narrow or you don't use the horse. I'm probably not using the pick six. I just think it can get caught in between. As I mentioned, they're adding blinkers. They is a vulnerable favorite for me. I just in this level with speed from capture the time on the inside, Edwin Gonzalez gonna 100% be aggressive here. He might get to the front. And Tisha Wabe with Castro, he dangerous. Castro was so dangerous last year at the Sunshine and the Royal Palm meet. So not for me. I do not like Mr. Peaks to kick off the pick six. I'm trying to beat Mr. Peaks. And I think there could be a chalk single. So I think you might get a price here. So not for me. Let's keep going. I thought the first two races are tough. I think you can go skinnier once you get past these. I mean, it's kind of the same scenario. Ball up top, like, should be the fave here. Gonna take a bunch of money. But this maiden claimer for 25 on the Tapeta, look how contentious the pace is. And that horse going to be in between horses with this other speed, great jockeys. You have the stronger GSRs to the outside runners, including Street Bell. Dancing Miracle has nice work. I mean, the 5 should win. I would use the 5 in the pick six, but I do not think that horse has to win. I think many of these runners can win this race. 6, 1, 8, 5 if narrow. If you're spreading, you can add some others. The 3 and 7 I didn't think can win, but the 6 going to be a good price. Comes from the strongest strength of races. They knew this horse had some talent to start with for Santiago. Ocasio rides. I mean, they're taking a big drop out of that stakes race back in August. Comes off a lengthy layoff. Well, let me get rid of this stuff. Um, Works. There's not a lot here at Palm Meadows, but I did not think that Ball Up Top had to win this race either. I thought you might beat the favorites in most, but I like Ball Up Top better than Mr. Peaks in race 4 as a favorite here. But if you're E user, you can see kind of my notes there again. 6-1-8-5 for me if narrow. If you're spreading, you could add some others. But the first 2 races I thought were a little tough. You're gonna have to make some decisions if you're playing this mandatory pick 6. Starts again at about 35 minutes. Okay. So I think these next few races you can go narrow. I think you can add some coverage in the first 2, try to get some prices because in these next couple. So here's the thing. I mean, look at the pace figures. Alexander Helios for Safi has a 37-point pace advantage on the main track going 8.5. I mean, isn't inside speed going to be dangerous here? The morning line on Captain Danny I thought was interesting. I don't trust the favorite here, Steel Sunshine. I mean, on the dirt with no speed and that low of a pace number, and you're going to get way better price on the 5? No, thank you. And I do think Awesome Train fits. This horse might get first jump if Alexander Helios stops, but Alexander Helios could 100% take this group a long way. Could wire, does give it up late, and the 2 and 5 are there. I'm 5-2-1. Again, I think the chalk going to come in the next couple races. I think you might be able to beat the favorites in the first few legs. I really do. But I think Captain Danny 100% fits here. Zaya's rides for Barbosa. Barbosa having a great meet, one last out. You like to see that. They come and have to face a tougher group. But you got a graded stakes winner in Alexander Helios. There's a lot of question marks on these runners. Steel Sunshine, been in graded stakes, did win a handicap here at 8.5. But I just don't think the pace sets up right. And with the recent rain, and I think the track's probably speed favoring. I know it was, I think, on the Tapeta still, but I think you can beat even the 6 Steel Sunshine here. I mean, these horses do not have to win these races. Very competitive in the first 3 races of the pick 6. And again, doesn't win the race sim, actually ends up almost running last on the race sim, even though it's closing. But the 1 could take him a long way. I think the 2 and 5 get first jump. You got Edwin Gonzalez can be aggressive on the 2. And then we mentioned Zaya is in town with New York not racing this weekend. So 5-2-1 for me there, trying to beat the 6. Race 7, I think a lot of people will probably single Happy Ride. Some others might view this as a spread race. I think the picks probably have this. Happy Ride does have 2 wins on the Tapeta sprinting, has speed, going to be dangerous, has that strong pace advantage, right? Gets a pretty easy lead. Lucy's Cookie, I think, will get first jump, maybe in the mix at a price. For me, it's just those 3, 8-3-1, 1-3-8, whatever order. I do think Happy Ride's a legit. I'm singling in the next leg, and we'll talk about that. I think legit on the front end. I didn't necessarily love Jokes Up, who's right there. That might be a potential. I liked Lucy's Cookie a little bit better than Jokes Up. You look at Lucy's Cookie, way back here, look, ran right off the pace in a 60 SOR sprinting 5. And since then has kind of run well, but faded for Abreu. Now 4th off the layoff. This horse in form should get a good jump with the 3 with speed. I think a good price for Marat. He's going to be right there. He's aggressive. But Happy Ride with Zayas and Orsino, one back-to-back. And you can see with Equine Edge, anytime you see a blue date and you hover over, you see these dots that show up. This shows who they faced out. Has been facing some of these and has beaten them in the last 2. Right at 58s and 60s. So a lot going to view this, I think, as a pretty competitive race. But I think it's, for me, I would go narrow because I do think the 3 is tough. And I think the 8 and 1 are going to be right there. Some of these others, I just didn't love the form. So I'd be going out there. And then my single for the pick six, I think I'll probably play just because I think if you can beat a couple of favorites, I think it can be okay. I'm singling the six here in race 8. I mean, this is a state bred allowance, and in my opinion, this is just not a great group. I'm not sure why Frosty Bell, even the favorite, at 9 to 5, the 8 to 1 EE morning line. I don't know where the morning line came from. That I thought the six for sure would be the favorite in this race. Flow code. That's where I'm landing. I mean, there is some other speed from Gerving Star, but I think Sammy with Floco going to deal just fine with the 3. You know, Sammy might get the lead and just run them off their feet, and he might sit outside if Gerving Star can break. But I still think that's a question for Gerving Star. Is fast, but there's no speed here on the main track. I think Floco enters into state bred for the on the drop here. It wins a race in fairly easily. Gonna be even money. I'm assuming this horse is gonna take a boatload of money, and the 5 morning line was just off. But you look at both these. I mean, this horse has done nothing wrong. It's been in back-to-back state bred stakes. That's a 16 point SOR drop. Like, they remain protected here. Like, Sammy Camacho leading jockey rides. I mean, I don't know how this horse really. I mean, there is a lot of speed, so I guess that's how the horse could lose. Top GSR by 15 points. I mean, everything to me points to the 6 from the metrics. I didn't really like It's Only Words. And again, Gerving Star, I think maybe has a look on the front end, but I think there's question marks. You bumped at the start, lost position, was in the 5 path, couldn't get the lead here versus a 50, or got the lead here versus a 52, but then backed up. So I don't love that, right? I think the 6 Floco gets me. If the 3 does break somehow, Sammy just sits it outside. If the 3 doesn't break that fast, Sammy gonna go and be gone. So I think there's good options for the 6 because it's just not a great group when you look at the strength of races. And this horse just finds an easy state bred spot. So that's my single of the sequence. I think the last race is probably a little bit difficult. So for me, I'm adding some coverage. You can see I would probably use 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10 would be who I would use there. But I think it's a good sequence. Underneath the 6, Gary, in the last, let's look. We'll look at this and we take off. I mean, I don't think Gerving Star can probably hold on. The only way Gerving Star can win, I think, if something happens with the 6. If there's no speed here, either one of these horses are winning. But win bet only would be a horse probably on the rails to get a good trip off the pace. Let's look what happens in the stretch. So in the exacta, let's look. So let's see what the ticket generator says. If we put $1. Okay, it has 6-3. What if we put $2? It has the 4. If we put $3, it has the 1. Okay, so let's go back. And it's keen there because I wanted to single the 6. So if we'll do a little handicapping real quick, Gary. So 1 of 54, 1 of 52 has come off the pace. The 4 is in the mix off the pace. I just don't think it's good enough, right? Ran second here versus 58. Ran 4th, lost by 6 lengths versus 60. That was its first time versus state bred. Smolian, the works are fine. I mean, they're nothing outstanding. It faced Gerving Star last out and ran 4th, and Gerving Star back there ran 5th on March 7th, and then back here also faced Gerving Star. But I think the 4 has a big look. I think Gerving Star will fade, Gary. So the 4, and then no to the 2. Frosty Bell. I think this horse gets over bet, Gary. I mean, yeah, but look, I mean, it's coming from much easier. Where you look at the 4, it's been coming from much tougher competition and running well. So I'd probably try to beat the 5 even in the exact there. So 6 over at 4, or let's look at the 1. I mean, this horse is going to be closing, so maybe the 1 can get up with all that speed you look, I mean, it has run on off of paces, but it loses by a lot of lengths. More into the try. It did run well here for Zeno. Edwin G. Probably give this horse a good trip. I probably lean 4/1. 7 looks more like I don't know, cheap. So I probably lean 4, Gary. 6/4, maybe a little bit of the 1 because you're gonna get a good price. So in the exacta for me, it'd be 6/4, 6/1. All right, that's it. Our single of the pick six mandatory. Looks like they're having about 1 million in the pool. It starts in 30 minutes. Race 3 about to go off. It's a 3-horse race, not a good one. But Floco, our single, I do think, as I mentioned, if you just joined, I think the few races you might be able to beat some favorites. Race 4 and 5, I thought were two of the tougher in the sequence. I know the win percent has this one wide open, but for me, I was looking at the 3 or the 8. I do think the 3 could wire the field. The 6 and 1 are coming as we talked about, but the 6 never won at 5. The 1 never won at 5. The 2 never won at 5. The 3, 2 for 2. And the 8, 1 for 7. Has a strong GSR there on the 8. So just 3-8 for me. I like that double too. 3-8 maybe into the 6. Of course, Gary. All right, y'all. Go Mariners. My boys are riding hot, man. A lot of people, they're 11-1 to win the World Series if you want some action. In the AL, I think they're still like 5-6-1. But they're gonna heat up, man. They're not healthy. And you still got Donovan and Cal coming back, but they starting to hit the ball and pitching. I mean, they're the real deal, you all. Big shot in the AL, I will tell you. And we got the Spurs yesterday to win. We got some futures from the Seahawks won the Super Bowl with the Spurs or the Knicks to win the championship. We got them both into the Mariners. So fun ride ahead for baseball season. Happy Sunday, you all. Have fun today at Gulfstream Park or if you're playing elsewhere. But mandatory pick 6 in 30 minutes. And good luck. All right, chat soon. We'll be back next week. Just 3-day racing week at the Royal Palm Meet. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. See y'all.